Hello everyone, my name is Cecilia Ramadhani. Welcome back to our Cultural Podcast channel. Today, we are joined by 5 amazing companions. Cantika, Suden, Frida, Sasa, Desita, who have just returned from an insightful study visit to the Cirebon Max Museum and the historic Cirebon City Hall. We are going to dive deep into the fascinating history, intricate symbolism, and profound cultural heritage of Cirebon Max. To kick off our discussion, could someone share the overall scope of the museum collection and how Max history evolved through different historical periods?
I love to start. When you enter the museum, you're immediately struck by the vast diversity of Max. The first gallery showcases an extensive collection of authentic Cirebon Max, while adjacent gallery hosts a much broader collection from all across the Indonesian archipelago, and Nusantara Max. The museum presents a detailed historical narrative tracking the development of Max art from the prehistoric era through the Hindu-Buddhist kingdom period, up to distinct evolution of Max tradition in Cirebon Islam.
Adding to that prehistoric context, as we know, ancient Indonesian belief system in Indonesia were heavily rooted in animism and dynamism. People believe spiritual force present in scarred stone and objects. Marsh originally emerged not as decorative art, but as essentially ritual tools for sacred offering and ancient worship. Museum display notable history artifacts, reliefs, and cements original from Gianyar in Bali and Subang in West Java, illustrating how ritual mask making was present across different regions in Christ's time.
The transition into the Hindu-Buddhist period, particularly during the era of the majestic Majapahit Empire, brought magnificent shift. Majapahit influence Spanish across the Indonesian archipelago and extended toward mainland Southeast Asia. During this golden age, Max practitioners evolved the high art craftsmanship, including ritually Max forged from solid gold. Beyond royal aesthetic appeal, Max served vital multifaceted societal function, social gathering points, secret ritual implements, entertainment, performance, and deep symbolic representation of human nature.
The social dimension is particularly interesting. Historically, public max performance served as central gathering event that brought communities together for socialization. Over time, particularly as Islam was introduced to Cirebon by Islam saints like Sunan Kalijaga and Sunan Gunung Jati, max art were skillful purpose as a gentle medium for cultural acculturation and religious proselytization. Rather than erasing existing tradition, they embedded moral and spiritual teaching into performance art.
Exactly, a major milestone in the Cirebon Max history was the creation of the iconic Panjawanda, the 5 iconic Max characters created by Pangeran Losar, also known as Pangeran Angkawijaya, who was a grandson of Sunan Gunung Jati. These 5 Max, Panji, Samba, Rumyang, Tumenggung, and Kelana, represent the continuous cycle of human life, emotional maturation. Panji symbolizes a newborn infant's purity. Samba represents incarnate childhood. Rumyang depicts infantilization, indolence. Tumenggung embodies mature wisdom and authority. And Kelana portrays the intense turbulent, human desires, and passion.
That philosophy of human maturation through five characters is truly profound. I also understand that this character draw inspiration from epic classical literature and shadow puppet traditional, correct?
Yes, the character Alex closely with wayang classic theater. Panji come from the romantic Panji Semirang. Keiko Samba represent the divine character Dewi Samba. Tumenggung mirror noble prime minister from Mahabharata tales. And Kelana direct embodies the fierce Rahwana from the Ramayana epic. Interesting, Rumyang is original, pure, creative invention of Pangeran Losari without a direct wayang character predecessor, highlighting the creative genius of Cirebon royal artisans.
Moving on to our second session, let's explore the physical craftsmanship behind these mugs and how performance techniques differ from other regional art forms. How exactly are these mugs manufactured and what makes Cirebon mugs wearing techniques so unique?
One fascinating technically detail we learned is that the face piece worn by the dancer is technically called a knot, while the trim topeng historically refers to the head ornament and the corrective correct worn on the dancer forehead. Specifically known as knop gepeng. However, in the popular modern language, the word topeng is used for the entire mask. The authentic knop is carved out of Jombang wood. Jarang wood is chosen because it lightweight for dancer, easy to carve manual and naturally resistant to termite damage.
The crafting process requires immense patience and skill, taking anywhere from 1 to 2 months for a single mask. Painting process alone now is penggunaan focus applying between 2 to 10 meticulous layers of paint to achieve a smooth, vibrant finish that absorbs perfectly into the work. Due to the delicacy of the day's historic paint layer, museum visitors are strictly prohibited from using camera flashes, as instances like exports can cause the delicate historic paint layers to degrade over time.
What blew my mind was the traditional wearing technique, unlike masks from other regions that has elastic bands and leather strap tied around the back of the head. Authentic Cirebon masks dancers secure the mask by beating a leather or rubber peg wheeled into the back inner side of the mask. This requires extraordinary jaw stretch, stamina, and breath control, especially considering that historically a single soloist dancer would perform all 5 Pancawanda characters sequentially, character dancing lasting 13 to 14 minutes.
That level endurance in mind-boggling, dancing non-stop for over 3 hours while beating a wood mask. Historical dancer underwent rigorous spiritual preparation, including special fasting ritual to building special physical stamina and mental focus. In ancient time, masked troopers were street performers wandering from village to village across the ancient Karuban Nagari realm. Later, as the art gained prestige, dancers were invited to perform inside the royal palace, Keraton Kasepuhan dan Keraton Kanoman, evolving masked dance into an excitement royal court tradition.
We also explored how mask styles evolve across different regions within the greater Cirebon cultural sphere. including Selangit, Arjawanangun, Losari, Indramayu, and Subang, while also common historical roots in Cirebon as the cultural hub. Its sub-regions developed distinct artistic nuances, color variances, and performance sequences. Furthermore, the museum highlighted the close connection between Cirebon Max Dance and Wayang Wong. Human Pseudo Puppet Theater, perfected by legendaries masters like Ki Wario and Ki Kadeng, whose disciples continue to preserve this living heritage today.
What an arising journey! From sacred prehistoric ritual and Royal Majapahit gold to spiritual Islamic acculturation, intricate wood carving, and remarkable physical mastery, Cirebon's mark heritage stand a testament to Indonesian artistic genius. Thank you all for sharing this brilliant observation from your museum visit, and to our listeners, thank you for tuning out. Bye bye.